Hello and good afternoon. Good afternoon and good afternoon to those of you here in the United States. Good morning to some folks still in the morning hours here in the United States. And good evening to folks in Liberia. Whatever you are, this is your favorite program for some people, though. The Hour of Politics, always with me, Ansony, Sieh, your host. I always ask for a favor that you share the show with somebody to join the conversation. And a pleasant welcome to all of you for joining me in this Thursday edition of the Hour of Politics. Of course, the network is focused on Liberia, and our goals remain the same. It's about educating, it's about elevating, and it is also about promoting all things Liberia. I have three topics to discuss today. Or if I may say, I can say issues, right? Number one, President Weah appoints new managing director for RIA LAA. RIA is the Rabat International Airport, and LAA is Liberia Aviation Authority. Whoever is appointed to RIA is also the head of the Liberian Aviation Authority. So we will talk about that. That appointment has generated huge conversation in the Liberian community, rightfully so, because people are concerned whether or not the individual nominated by the president for the position will be able to deliver, looking at his experience, his work history, and in fact, his credentials are being questioned by some people. And it is obvious why people, see that it is important that they talk about that in a much more serious way, given what we have been experiencing as our one and only, at our one and only international airport, the Rabat International Airport. It's been going into darkness. Planes are aborting landing, some diverting. It's been chaos at some point. Some people have to even use their cell phones to locate their luggages. It has been, so much of a ceaseless management nightmare affecting and impacting people's travel in Liberia. It has been so much of a disgrace and embarrassment to us as a people. And so in this government's effort, finding solution to that problem, we agree we needed somebody to be able to steer the affairs of that particular entity of government, the Liberia Aviation Authority, and also the airport. And given that this thing has been an embarrassment not only to the country, but to us as a nation, this is one of the things that, it's not about politics. It is about respect for a group of people and a nation, and more so it's about the safety of those who use the airports, airlines who are doing business with our country, carrying several millions of dollar aircrafts, to that country, transporting Liberians, transporting goods and services, transporting investors. And if you look at all of that, the airport, I will also say, has been one of the gateways to our nation's economy. I believe the airport has a huge potential, to generate significant revenue for the running of a government. And this particular agency of government, this airport, the Liberia Aviation Authority that has become a laughing stock. It has been an embarrassment to the government. Lights been going off. The last time they took ambassadors, in our country to the airport for them to see for themselves firsthand the challenges that are ongoing at the airport. We had a broadcast about this some time ago. We advanced some, recommendations as to how to correct this problem, and which is actually a management problem, and which is a leadership problem from our government. And so after all of these things have happened, and given the fact that Liberia's international airport is the only airport, as far as I know, in West Africa that is not being managed well, where our leaders cannot do the most basic thing of keeping the lights on, you would think our government will bring seriousness to this airport, and for the president to have come forth to appoint somebody, and now we are hearing this person is not suited, not even close. It is unbelievable. It shows that our government does not care about the safety of Liberians using the airport, and just about anybody using the airport. They have had, according to information, somebody who studied in the area of criminal justice, from what I read, he has been managing or acting as manager, and we've had all these problems. And before this guy, we had a pastor who was in charge. There was one protest after the other. There were issues. There have been issues. And so we have been on this road for searching for a better management at that airport, given the importance of the airport. The airport is the first impression that the country will give to anybody who enters Liberia. And the impression has been so bad, so wrong, so embarrassing, and so disgraceful. And so you would think that after all and a lot have been said about what is needed to be done at this airport, the need for a serious manager at this airport, the need for serious leadership to be brought to bear at this airport, for this government of President Weah to think that the best they can do is to bring somebody who, based on our research and all that we've looked at, is not suited and fit for the position he's been appointed for. I cannot comprehend. Liberians cannot believe that this is the best President Weah can do for our country. Even in the CDC, those who support President Weah in the diaspora and even in Liberia, if only he was serious, if only the CDC government were serious about providing leadership that would be of help to our country, that will at least save the image of our country or protect the image of our country. If they were serious, they would have found somebody within the party, CDC, within their support base. They would have found somebody who had been in management for years. They would have found somebody. But their calculation here has been simple. They always want somebody who will say yes, sir. Somebody they can control. Somebody who will appreciate that They don't deserve the opportunity or the job to which they're being appointed. That way, Alan McGill is in charge, or Orator is in charge, and that they can say to that person, bring this, do this, and it will be done without any questions asked. Somebody who will not have the understanding of the duties and responsibilities for the job to which that person is being appointed, and will do everything with the unique sense of understanding that this is a delicate and serious responsibility that is being given to me, and it's not about me. It is about service to a nation that needs the service. It is about service to a group of people who need the service. And that this service, when it is not done properly and effectively, it will embarrass the country. It will put people's lives at risk. Somebody with that deep sense of understanding. This is the best George Weah can do for our country. This is how he exhibits his love for our country. This is how he displays his love for our country. We've been lied to over and over that he has the country at heart. President Weah is not a child. This is a grown man over 55 years. Does he not know that there are competent and qualified Liberians across the world with proven history of managerial experience who can do this job? And he wants to find a yes, sir kind of person who they will control. And of late, I should point out here quickly, the government of Liberia, I heard, is to receive $40 million to resolve this crisis, unfortunate crisis that we have been having at our international airport. These guys are so calculative. And now that money is in the picture to correct this mess that we have on our hands, they would rather have somebody who is either a sycophantic character who will not question them why they should demand some of the money. That is the person they're looking for. In a serious crisis like this, you want somebody with the proven record in management, somebody who has been able to manage a budget in millions. Has that brother been able to manage an institution or at least a department with a budget in millions? Has he? This is no malice to this brother. I am not going to dwell so much on his credentials. I am more about results. Does he have the history of delivering results in a managerial terrain? Does he? Does he have that history? Of course not. He does not have the history of delivering results in any managerial area of work. No, he does not. Did the government even vet this guy? Does the government even vet this guy? Was he vetted? The information given to the government by this individual as his credentials and qualification. Did the government take time to verify those credentials, the information given to them? We live in the information age now. Nothing is hidden anymore. The United States, where we are, this guy has been living, is an open book that anybody can grab and read just with a cell phone with internet on it. Is the CDC government bent on telling us that qualification is meaningless to our country's management? Is that what they are bent on? Because this has been a pattern. There has been a pattern. How could you have had these serious challenges at the airport? And this is your best effort. Or now that you have gotten money or money coming, and now you think somebody who has now managed $1 million in his lifetime as a manager is the best suited person to manage an airport that budget in millions? Amen. Weah Appoints. And this is how you display your leadership skills for a country you all claim to have so much love for. You bring an unsuitable character for the job to do what? And you think he's going to give you the results when there's no history about this gentleman delivering results in any managerial space? His credentials have been questioned. And this is the person you will appoint and list on the nation's executive mansion's website as manager for Liberia Aviation Authority and Liberia's International Airport. Where is this president mind? Where is this Mange's mind? And where is this Twega who carries himself as the educated, eloquent guy among them? I thought this guy cares about credentials so much that he would be so meticulous about who gets appointed. Or is it that he wants to be the only guy who shines? Does it place into George Weah mentality that no one should outshine him? And because he's not the brightest, not even close to one, so he will bring people who will worship him, even though the responsibility for which they've been considered is to produce results for the betterment of the country. I am getting out of words, but I have sufficient words despite my limitation to really speak to this issue. This is distressing. I know just before my broadcast time, I saw a piece of information that the nomination has been withdrawn by the president. I hope that is true. I hope that is true focus on Liberia cannot confirm this information as yet, because that information came in just about broadcast time. I am just praying. I who don't pray. I walk. I don't pray. Because I understand what the Bible says. The Bible says, faith without work is dead. So, folks, I hope that information is true. But since we cannot confirm the truthfulness of this information, that nomination has been withdrawn, I want to join all Liberians across the world that this nomination should be withdrawn with the speediest immediacy ever. This appointment is an insult to us as a people, and it's a slap in the face of our nation. President Weah being an incompetent president does not mean that he should give us misfits. We don't deserve that. We do not deserve that as a people, and we're not going to take it. Our nation has people who are qualified, who have the requisite experience or experiences in all areas. And one of them can be considered to occupy this position and be of help to the situation that we are having. And at the best that this government can do is to add insult to this injury that we've been nursing shamefully. We have an airport that was built with money from a foreign power, China, I understand. And then now we have taken over as a people. We cannot keep the light on at the airport. There is no report. I look at the airport website. First of all, the website is embarrassing. Of all the millions passing through that agency, they do not have a user-friendly website. I look everywhere. I did not find a single report on the airport's management where I push my cartoon. I get periodic report on the finances of the company that I work for. And then there is a yearly report. So I know how much profit the company makes, how profitable that company is. And we as a people, we are not even entitled to how our institutions are doing. I was hoping to have seen either a quarterly report or a yearly report as to how much has been set aside for the management of the airport and how much money this airport is generating. This is an autonomous institution which managers should be able to give quarterly and periodic reports so that we have a sense of how it is doing. And this is an institution with these huge challenges. No format in place for anybody to come in and take from or follow, and then you bring somebody who does not have the ability and experience and record to manage an institution that should have a budget in millions. You know, I receive so many pictures about this brother, Brother Darlington T. Conley, who was tabbed by the president for this position. I received a lot of pictures. I've heard a lot of things. One of the pictures that I received was him with other people in what clearly looked like a workshop. And they have a tiny little plane, and he was dead. And I'm like, okay, is this the Boeing? Boeing is the United States #1 giant manufacturer of aircrafts. In my line of work, I see planes. I put yesterday, planes nearly every day. I do work for an airline. I've been doing that for 10 years now. I know about safety. Airport management is no joke, because the slightest mistake can take away the life of hundreds. Even those who have been around an aircraft for so long, their experience with safety procedures and other things about working procedures around aircraft, the ground operation, and something where I have my own little expertise, that does not equate to you being competent, capable, and experienced enough to be on the managerial aspect of an airport. Now, when you're talking about an airport, you're talking too many things here. You need to have the requisite experience in terms of managerial skills to deal with the airlines and the airport. Come on, man. CDC. Come on, man. President Weah. I mean, how could you be this unserious? How could you be? So, folks, this appointment, if it is not being withdrawn yet, we want to re-emphasize that it being withdrawn immediately. For this will not help to solve the problem at the airport. I cannot emphasize this much. I mean, what the guys are thinking. They have people. Even if they don't have, we are talking about our country. Our country does have people. Well, I will go to my next issue here. My next issue here is Major Jefferson Koijee as the orator for World Press Freedom Day. Those listening to me, I don't tread on malice against any man and woman. I believe seriousness is what is required when it comes to governance. For I know when governance goes wrong, hell breaks loose. I also believe that people who should serve and represent us should be our best. Because while that does, it inspires those coming after us to be like them and even more. What it also does, it shows that we as a people, we are serious-minded, and that we are not about insulting our own intelligence and disrespecting our nationhood and also our humanity. A Jefferson Koijee, the guy who said there are 17 continents, is the guy. This guy who does not know this basic information as to how many continents in the world is the guy, from what I have read, was selected in Liberia to be the orator on World Press Freedom Day in our country. Folks, think about it. We're talking about freedom of press. We're talking about journalism. We're talking about reporting. We're talking about media. We're talking about the dissemination of information. Using ethics, truth-telling as the yardstick or as the catalyst. And a Jefferson Koijee was invited, selected to speak on World Press Freedom Day. What actually went into that decision? How did they actually arrive at that decision? What are they trying to prove? What standard have they set? And how does that reflect on us as a people? How does it even reflect on the entire media community in Liberia? What does it even say about the press union of Liberia? Wow. People are joking in that country. People are joking in that country. Liberia has journalists, many of whom have served with dignity because they've served their time. Now they are in other areas of life. The profession they practiced is now being disrespected by those who are in charge today. I'm not sure I'm even qualified. I'm sure I am not qualified to speak on World Press Freedom Day in Liberia. Liberia has media professionals. It does not actually have to be somebody who is in media space. I would love somebody who practices the profession with the requisite qualification in that field to come, and be the orator on World Press Freedom Day in Liberia. That said, anybody with a wealth of experience who understands the importance of press, of journalism, freedom of speech, could be a well-placed and well-suited person to address the Liberian media and to speak on this very significant day in our country on press freedom, and come to talk about World Press Freedom Day and the best person Liberia can showcase in the world to address our country, to speak to media personnel, media institution in our country on where World Press Freedom Day is a Jefferson Koijee. I like to paint pictures in people's mind. This joke that our government and a good number of us, even in our own communities, continue to display is having a serious consequence on us, on our respectability as a people and as a country. We do not have respect anymore amongst our peers. Lights going off at the airport, now one time, now two times. That thing has been picked up by the international media. The only country that cannot keep the lights on at an international airport is my Liberia, is your Liberia. And you think if someone sees you and gets to know that you are from that country, they will have respect for you? You think they will have respect for our country? As though that in itself is not enough, World Press Freedom Day, nobody in Liberia, nobody in our community, no one among the about 1 million citizens of our country was seen, was picked, was selected to speak on this occasion marking World Press Freedom Day other than a Jefferson Koijee. No disrespect to this brother. No malice whatsoever. He should be the least to speak. Oh, okay. When he speaks, Zogo is going to be inspired because the future of the country now, Liberia, is Zogo. So Zogo is going to be inspired. Sedition is going to be inspired. They will call him Comrade Militant, Revolutionary Comrade. Have we not heard from Jefferson? Have we not seen? Have we not heard what comes out of his mouth? Does he represent any better for our country in terms of speech, in terms of qualification, in terms of his standing in our community, or just because he's a mayor now? So out of a sudden, it covers all of his grudge, limitations, and so on and so forth. And whatever comes out of his mouth will represent us as a people because he's a mayor. Congratulations to those who chose him to speak on Press Freedom Day. We got to get serious. We have brilliant young people who have done well for themselves and have acquired the necessary credential with brilliance and honors. We live now, blessedly, because of the technological age we are in. The world is so interconnected now. Someone can be any part of the world and can address a group of people in any part of the world through the internet. And even in a very Liberia, I don't think he's the brilliant of all. He's not even that brilliant. I have to leave this. Now, folks, let me also come to the other issue here. The latest in the Cummings trial and its potentialities to national security. Folks, sorry, I apologize. You know, our crewmen, even if we not know the English good, we like to use some big words. So let's talk about this. The latest in the Cummings trial and its potentialities to national security. What we are seeing ongoing in our country with this Cummings trial is getting to a point that we need to really look at it seriously. This thing is approaching a crisis level that I believe is getting to impact our national security. So, folks, we should not take it light. Before I can dive into that, I will bring you a little video that I want you to watch. It's very brief. And then when I begin to speak on it, you will very well understand it. And I'm not going to be long. I'm going to take about less than 10 minutes to really lay it out for you. So watch. This is the video.
Mr. Cummings, welcome to Spoke. You can tell what's going on. What happened tonight in the court?
Well, today was another travesty of justice.
What do you mean?
The trial continues to be delayed unnecessarily. But what is most shocking is the fact that the entire bar of the Unity Party
So we're being pushed from talking to the political leader. So at this point, we're being pushed left and right. So that's exactly what is happening. Those of you watching on Sport TV, Weah has been the scene here at this moment.
So, folks, I hope you were very well attentive. So that was Mr. Cummings yesterday after another court hearing. He came out of the court and he decided to speak to the press. And you could tell that this man was feeling so exhausted. He was a little more tiring in getting his words out. And behind him was his wife, standing by him. He's been going to this court on these charges for about 2-3 months now, or thereabout. And as he struggled to get his words out, and you could tell from his facial expression, this man is tired. This man is frustrated. This man is under so much pressure. This is a Liberian who is going through this not in the name of law, but in the name of politics. And it came to a point, as you watch the video, it became impossible for him to continue because those that were there, the tension was just piling up, building up. And so his security needed to be so quick that, and they surrounded him and they opened a corridor. And blessedly, his car, was brought, or his car came back and rushed into the car, he and his wife, and the guy in the car, and they drove away. he did not complete his thought there. Even though he would rather not say anything. But what choice got him there? Tired, dispirited, based on my observation, that he's going through in the name of politics. I don't see the law here. And this is the other part you need to pay attention to, folks. There were people in the crowd who were chanting, row, row. What is the connection? This is someone going through trial based on allegation of a framework document being altered and forged. There was no time throughout this noise about money. So how come you have a group of people there chanting row, row? So who has stolen what? Cummings? What are they actually talking about? There is no connection. But there is a picture it paints that you must get. And this is the picture that poses a significant threat to our national security. So this man is being maligned, is being called thief when he has stolen no money in the country by some Liberians. But these very Liberians do not see the actual thieves in the country. Now, those who support Mr. Cummings are infuriated about this behavior. They too can be provoked to do anything stupid. And it will build a serious tension in the country. The last time we heard from Mr. Cummings, he had threatened that if Mr. Bwaka will at any point not honor a subpoena to go to the court, he himself will reserve the right not to go to court. That was a threat. That was a challenge to the entire legal system or the government, that if you do not exercise fairness in this so-called trial, I too will disrespect the court and disrespect this nation. This is a man feeling unfairly treated by our government. And you think other Liberians are happy with this picture? What this picture paints is that this is a nation that is picking up something, if not managed, might explode in its face. This is the least we should ever be thinking about in our country. For we have seen it all and endured it all. Oh, we have endured it all. I am today not going to comment on the legality. If you are on the other side of the political divide, would you rather see, in the name of law or politics, whatever you think that is, would you rather see your father being treated this way? Would you rather see your political father being treated in this way? Would you rather see your political god, because these people, most of you worship them as gods. I know one guy who does not worship them. I know one guy who has zero sympathy for them, but does have an impressive sympathy for those who are suffering as a result of the decisions made by these leaders in our country. I know one guy. That guy is Ansony Sieh. The idea that you come with sympathy when we are talking about leadership is a foundation to compromise governance in our country. That said, this case is turning into something. Because of this case, as we speak, the United Party does not have a candidate for the by-elections, the by-election for Lofa County. And it is because of this very case, Vice President Joseph Yimam Boaka went on record to say, and I quote, if there will be no United Party candidate for the by-election in my home county of Lofa, there will be no by-election. Don't get it twisted, fellow Liberians. Mr. Boaka is the son, and I will say he is the number one prominent son. He is the number one prominent son. Let me correct that because I did not say one of the sons. He is the number one prominent son of Lofa County as we speak, given that he is Liberia's most immediate vice president. He won Lofa County overwhelmingly in the gone election. Lofa County selected Brandon J. Samunka in the 2020 by-election. Samunka won with 20,000 votes more than the next person that followed him. I think he got 20,000 and the other guy got 13. He was a Unity Party candidate. And this is Unity Party political leader speaking. That when no by-election, no Unity Party candidate, there will be no by-election. Tension is building up in this country. The CDC is playing football with this case. The peace that we have in our country today is because the Liberian people have reached a point that violence is not, has never, and should never be the answer to anything. But to take them for granted and exhibit political machination in so many ways just to maintain power that you will not use to benefit the people in the first place, but only to benefit yourself. It's an attempt to provoke the people to action. And when the people march into history, it will not be good for our peace. So, folks, when I tell you the latest in the Alice Cummings trial and its potentialities to our national security, I hope you have seen the picture. So this is what's happening right now also, folks. The National Election Commission has written the Liberian legislature that it is clear that it is not possible for it to conduct the by-election of May 10th. Today is the 5th. The election is supposed to be held in the next 5 days. The Unity Party, one of Liberia's biggest party, does not have a candidate. And it's saying it's not going to allow that to happen. Its political leader has threatened that no Unity Party candidate, no by-election. And all of these variables, one of which also is the main fact that the ANC and the Liberty Party have filed a petition at NEC to stop the Unity Party candidate. They got that blessing. It was confirmed or upheld by the Board of Commissioners, and now their case goes to the Supreme Court. And the NEC did not have enough time to plan. I don't know whether the NEC has even had the resources to conduct the by-election. There has not been any sufficient information as about planning and all of that. Nothing. And my question is, why would the NEC even waste all of this time, just 5 days to the conduct of the election, before you are writing the Liberian legislature that you are not in a position to conduct the election? Does the NEC actually want us to believe that it is just getting to know that it was never and ever in the position to conduct a by-election? I mean, how would they be in the first place when the very boss of this National Election Commission have been dealing with her own issue? She was indicted by the LACC, and the CDC government cut her loose on a share and, what they call technicality based on legal issues. This is a woman clearly who was guilty of violating the Code of Conduct law, the act creating the LACC, and also the act creating the PPCC. This woman has violated 3 separate acts created by the national legislature, and she is a free woman on a main technicality. She has been dealing with her own issues. So in no way this by-election could have been possible. We do not have any sufficient information as to what level of preparation had gone into the conduct of this particular by-election that the NEC now is telling us it cannot conduct it. You see how these people just insult us? I mean, how will you not know at least 3 weeks or a month to the time that this is not doable? That is not doable. How will you not know that? And 5 days to the time, oh, we can make it? Amen. So, folks, they are asking the national legislature to give it the legality for the postponement of the by-election, because the by-election is a constitutional mandate. The only institution that can stop the conduct of this by-election, which is a constitutional mandate, will have to be the legislature that will adopt a resolution for the postponement of the by-election. The other institution can be or is the Liberian Supreme Court. That will be when it becomes necessary for the court to place a stay order, I don't know the appropriate legal term, but to make a decision that is within the ambient of the law, that this cannot go on based on these variables. Those are the 2 institutions that can put her to the conduct of an election that is a constitutional mandate. And this call now is being made by that body in 5 days to that election. Oh, Liberians. Oh, Liberia. This is, I mean, these are the people we have in our institution. This is why the whole country is a mess. We have to get this right. And while we are having the kind of mess on our hands under a Weah, a playboy, the so-called opposition leaders who were trying to lecture us that they were any better are the one who got themselves in Weah's court, for which Mr. Cummings is paying the price, and the Unity Party now is crying wolf that a candidate has been denied, and when they don't have a candidate, there will be no by-election. Chaos on our hands. On Weah, the census has not been conducted. The latest information is that it has been so because of corruption. And as we speak, Weah is yet to take action. The census should have been conducted, I believe, since 2010 or 2020. They should have conducted the election. I mean, the census of 2018, I believe. Yeah, 2018, I got that right. We should have conducted this census since 2018. The census has not been conducted. They postpone the census over and over. The issue has been money, according to them. No, the money issue has also been because people have been stealing the money, and the president is yet to act. We have so much mess on our hands. We have jokers who lead us and head our institutions. And the biggest joker of all is the one who is our president. He builds a little market with money given to him by foreigners, and he wants to be celebrated. He acquired himself mansions in less than 2 years into his presidency. He built himself a church. He got himself a slingshot. He refurbished and in fact rebuilt his 9th Street dilapidating a house. He turned it into a palace. He renovated a Jamaica resort where he boards. And now he takes money from the MPA. He takes money also from the Liberian Maritime Authority. He built a mini sports park, and there where he goes every day. And our citizens are dancing. Some of them are dancing to the tune of his music that he plays. And they think we are going anywhere. I don't blame them. That's all they see. That's all they know. The leaders in the past have set the standard so high, we would not have brought it so low for the people not to see it and know it. And in my crewmen Satyavos, folks, we are in a precarious predicament. Oh yes, we are in a precarious predicament. We come on the side of the opposition. You see mindlessness. You see childishness. And that's all you see. And they have their cheering squad to cheer them while this country is in peril. They have their cheering squad to cheer them, to justify for them, to make excuses for them, and call them kings and queens. And then when we come on the other side, we have a Weah, we have a CDC that does no wrong. And people are there to tell us he is the best president since 1822. Oh, Lord, have mercy on this country. And to you Liberians in the U.S., we are part of the problem. Many of us have given up. Many of us have turned our back. We are distrusted. We are dispirited. We are turned off by the behavior of these people. We are not even examples in our own little communities. We have a EULA that takes is yet to tell us whether or not it would take the $100,000 that's been offered them by this government that's been classified as kleptocratic. A government headed by thieves. A Liberian institution or organization in the U.S. that lives, this institution lives in a place where there's so much goodwill. And yet, EULA is yet to tell us whether or not it will take that $100,000 from this irresponsible, reckless government. Whether or not it's going to ever come to tell us that it's going to take or allow itself to be placed in the budget with a $300,000. EULA is yet to tell us. They wrote a press statement that they was going to consult among themselves and come back to report to us. It's been over a month now. They are yet to complete their consultation to come and tell us. For them, they owe no explanation. and they can do whatever they want. These are people in the United States. And so when you look at folks in Liberia are doing the worst, it is no surprise. So folks, these are the issues I thought to bring to you. These are the issues I thought to bring to you today. I hope I was succinct on the issues. I hope I was able to break things down for you to get a much simplistic, simpler, and deeper understanding of what is ongoing in our country. One more piece I will add. Why we have been embarrassed with this unthinkable appointment from this reckless government. They didn't bring anybody, they didn't see anybody to appoint with a proven track record of delivering results in the managerial space. Do you want to know the other men that we have on our hands that's coming, folks? So, folks, right now as we speak, according to a company called Conex Energy Incorporated, this is the sole company or the only company that supplies jet fuel to airlines coming to Liberia. This particular company has just said there is a shortage of jet fuel. Jet fuel is the fuel that planes use to fly. That company is saying there is a shortage of jet fuel in Liberia as we speak. Why? Because according to them, of the Russia-Ukraine crisis. According to the company, the next consignment of jet fuel will arrive in the country May 17. Folks, this means that airlines flying to Liberia may not be able to refuel at the Rabat International Airport. So, folks, you see, sometimes because of no lights, planes have to abort and go to Sierra Leone to refuel. Now we are having issue. Now shortage is coming. And then our president is not appointing somebody with the requisite experience who can navigate between these challenges. He appoints a citizen with no record and history when it comes to management, with questionable credentials. How is this gentleman able to deal with this? To keep the lights on is a problem. Then you're going to have shortage of jet fuel. So, folks, that's what it means. This could potentially lead to the suspension of flights to Monrovia or cause a major shift in flight schedule in our country. Liberians are going to be the one to be affected by this thing, folks. And as we speak, the only airline from Europe that goes to Liberia is SM Brussels. So if SM Brussels makes a managerial decision or a management decision that we can't go to Liberia because there's shortage of jet fuel, because if our plane land there, we need fuel, we can't refuel, we can't get out. So there's no need going there because Air France left already because of this same managerial nightmare and incompetence on the part of this government. This is the very CDC government that celebrated the coming of France, Air France, to Liberia. They have given President Weah the credit that it was due to George Weah managerial, what's the word? It was due to George Weah negotiation skills that brought Air France to Liberia. Our friends in the CDCs and friends of this government, they told us that Air France came to Liberia only and solely because of George Weah. The contract he played in France. So Air France have to come. You see them, the same so-called Icon and Air France are leaving. Air France left because of the terrible situation at the airport. Well, I will have to leave it there. I will have to leave it there. And I just hope I was able to be of some help and that I did justice to the three issues that I raised. If you want to call, you know the number to call. That number is always in the scrolling text below. That number is 605-313-6004. Enter the code 791-403 # to participate, and I will take your call. I was able to address the whole issue about President Weah's appointment of a new managing director for Rabat International Airport and the Liberia Aviation Authority. I also touched on Major Jefferson Koijee as orator for World Press Freedom Day. Really. And finally, I touched on Mr. Cummings' trial, the latest on it, and the potential, given the tension that's building up, is bringing to our national security. The latest in the trial that I may add quickly here is that they finally took the so-called original framework document to the court, and we got to know that the signature of one Daniel Nathan was on the document, who signed somewhere for the ANC. So people are contending that, well, why could he be the one to sign when he is not the head of the ANC? But the folks in his ANC, they say at no point was he ever the chairperson of the CPP. Some people are saying, I'm just quoting people, but the ANC is saying, hey, ANC as an institution needed to sign the document. You need an ANC signature, not necessarily a particular person's signature. And he having to be a leader, and so he was chosen to sign on behalf of ANC. How is that a problem? ANC sign. ANC, the institution, is not an extra or separate human being that has a signature to sign. No. People represent ANC, and ANC chose somebody to sign, and that person signed. That is the ANC argument. The other is that the document was submitted on the 10th of July to the National Election Commission. In other words, it was filed at the National Election Commission on the 10th of July. But then there is indication on the document that it was notarized July the 14th. So how could you have filed the document before even notarizing it? People are contending that you needed to file a notarized copy of the document. So some people are saying that is a huge discrepancy, which further suggests that there was some foul play. That is the latest. And, Joseph Yaman Bwaka's testimony as a criminal witness has been placed on a temporary hold. That is the latest in the case. I will take a short break. When I come back, I want to see folks placing their phone calls. I will take a short break. And I will be right back to take your phone calls.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Dennis Jah, thank you, folks. And I'm Ansony Sieh, the host of The Hour of Politics here at Focus on Liberia. And by the way, this is some people's favorite program here. I focus on Liberia. Before I can start taking calls, if there are, and have no calls, I'm going to be closing the broadcast. Let me bring you some advertisement from us here at Focus on Liberia. You know, when it comes to programming, I think we got this down and we can blow our own trumpet for it. So, folks, this is what we got coming your way. So, folks, this Sunday, my good friend and brother Dennis Koijee, which is May 8th this Sunday, will be hosting a program here. And we say Saving the Zogos. We will have Minister Anita Wanti and Ms. Odell Sherman. They begin Zogos, live on drugs, and are now out. The amazing stories of Anita Wanti and Ms. Odell Gibson. So Ms. Anita, the one that is on your right there, she had her own struggle. She got out of the ghetto, and she has inspired this Ms. Odell Gibson, and she is struggling to get out. And she's out, but, you know, it's still tough. Dennis Koijee, the well-rounded guy, will be talking to these two amazing ladies, you know, how they got into this Zogoism and started doing drugs, and also how they got out. That amazing stories, you don't want to miss it this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with Dennis Koijee. Also, one of your favorite programs here at Focus on Liberia is Tough Talking Thursday. This is where the best in the business of internet television come to discuss the issue with the toughness the issues require. Seated will be Ms. Carl Formula, who is Focus on Liberia public policy analyst. She will be here. Mohammed Sharif is Focus on Liberia analyst, and Mr. Webon Wetikuni is also Focus on Liberia chief political analyst. And we have in the house as guest Mr. Benjamin Kofa Fanier. Mr. Fanier is a 2023 presidential hopeful. The topic they will be discussing, the CDC, opposition, and the road to 2023. Their message, money, mentors, or strategy, or morale. Some people can say that morale will eat. Woo! Among these political blogs will be laughing at the end of the day. With their message, get them to win. With their money, do it. With the mentor, the strategy, or that their morale will do it. Also, folks, coming to Focus on Liberia is another edition of your favorite program, The Hour of Politics. I will be having George Preston Lobo. He's a surrogate of Joseph Yumabwaka, and we will be discussing the topic, former VP Joseph Yumabwaka Sr., the leader and his 2023 presidential hopeful. Is Bwaka to go to the promised land this time? George Lobo said Bwaka is the guy. I am not sure, and I still have questions, and George will be explaining. I will allow him to flow, but the questions will be biting, and George should be more than prepared to come and discuss. Well, folks, I don't have a caller yet, so that is okay. And I like when people don't call. It makes my work easier, even though I like that too, though. So see that people are participating. So let me just give a few minutes and read a few comments. And then I'll call it a day. Peter White writes, Ansony, you are against this brother for no reason. If this brother can become the mayor of the capital city, then why are you being confused about speaking to the press union of Liberia? That is the brother taken. I respect that. They are from Trocomo. That's because the court environment was very tense yesterday. That person writes. This is from Prince Ansony Sieh. It was very sad, shameful, and dangerous on the part of the Unity Party partisan, calling a man of integrity a role when we have criminals serving in high public office. It's sad. That is a man who is a supporter of Cummings, so I can understand his sentiment there, but that does not take the truth away. Your respect depends on yourself, how you live and earn it, and not where you come from. That person writes. Maybe therefore, Ansony said, I don't get it that the media is leaving out the entire alteration despite all the evidence that is visible for all to see. Mayfi Deco making his point there. Let's hear from Patrick S. Yamfo. Cummings blundered when he aligned with non-corrupt politicians. Yes, I believe Cummings did not make the right decision, and people who have followed me know that I do not hide in highlighting that. Let's hear from Sylvester here. He writes, which glass were you wearing when the ANC has placards with all kinds of demeaning words against former VP JMB? I am not a supporter of any of them, or nor do I support any of the disrespectful behavior against either of them, but you are not objective at all. If you are talking to me, I respect your opinion. I think you are just coming to this platform because those who have been here, they know one thing and they know one thing only, that this guy is an equal opportunity person when it comes to accountability. He holds all sides accountable. You're already made President Weah for that, and JMB VP for that as well. I don't know if he's talking to me. If you're talking to me that I made President Weah, then I did not make him at all. When you get done working for the white and you don't have anything to do, you just sit on Facebook and talk nonsense about your country. If he's talking to me, the guy said, I'm talking nonsense. Let's hear from Edward. Misinformation and disinformation can spread faster. Thank God most of the Congress members are aware of most of the disinformation. He writes, let me hear from Blamonto. They have private jets, so they don't care about those that use commercial airlines, and that is on point. They hear from D. Ware Taylor. Everything he's saying is factual. Where's the nonsense? We can love our country, Liberia, and at the same time call BS when we see it, and this guy couldn't be right. Robin Draper lies. That is not why Air France left Liberia. Where are you getting this information about Air France? My brother, you don't get it. You don't get it. James Zodwa writes, when you get done work, I think I read that. You probably might have reposted that. Let me make progress here. Did NEC know the document was lacking notarization before accepting it on the 10th? And then also, if resubmission was not within the NEC guideline, would it have been accepted again on the 14th for the second time? Very good question, my friend. Let me hear from Prince again. Dennis, Jai, you might want to fact check your man Ansony Sieh and keep him on the fact to maintain the credibility of this platform. He just misinformed the audience on when it was not Cummings that signed the CPP document. I don't know what you got from me. Let me restate just as I stated exactly. The latest is that it's been reported, and when I was saying that, I said I am quoting. It has been reported that that Daniel Nathan signed the document. And according to Lafayette Gould, who is a lawyer representing Mr. Cummings, he said the man signed on behalf of ANC. That signature said that's on behalf of ANC. That's what I said. How is that misinformation? I have the video to that effect, Prince. Anyway, people have to say their own too, right? Let's hear from my man Ansu Dwalu. All of this happened when the organization refuses to prepare, absent leadership, and Mr. Dwalu has been on this message. Stephen Keita, we will be using Lungi Airport and go by road to Monrovia, and we don't have to go through that. We should not be going through that because the Sheriff unions are not going through that. Their leaders are not putting them through that. Why should it be us to go through that? Let me hear from a big brother, that is Mr. Dave Toja, who is on team called Gonglo. I hope you guys are getting it right. I need you guys again. I developed about 200 questions for Tier 1. Mr. Dave Ja writes, since we have become president of Liberia, the cognitive abilities of Liberians have diminished. The vocabulary skills of Liberian children have diminished. Critical thinking has diminished. Liberian children have become less motivated for education. The nation's psychological well-being has diminished. Our nation has become a laughing stock. Incompetence rose. Dave Toja writes. Let me hear from Mampu, Swab Mampu, Ansony. Our country is so light. Yes, away. Our country is so light years away from being developed. Our African countries, other African countries may be in that description of where you work, but Liberia, nowhere near close, she concludes. Let me hear from a dear sister here, Priscilla Yanato Ansony. I think you are doing well articulating about the situation. Thank you. She's showering some praises here. Praises, that's the thing I don't like. I want to be criticized so that I can become better. 40 million slush fund is loading. We are then need a straw to draw their own of millions. Their own of millions. Prince writes again. Alfred Dennis, $40 million. Why they can't build another terminal to make the airport bigger and more advanced? Or build another airport, maybe modernize the Springfield airport, because that money, they will steal 20 and use 20. That person, that is Alfred Dennis, concludes. All right, folks, I will leave it there, and you want to wait for my biting closing. And usually before I close, I always take a little break to catch my breath before I can close. So let's take a short break and get ready for your closing. So this is how I'm going to close it for today. This nation called Liberia was birthed out of hope. It was birthed because Liberia was meant to provide a space where Black people would thrive. Liberia has gone through so much. As a people, we have endured so much. The wars, corruption from one administration to the other. Leaders in the past were seen as competent and educated. The uneducated class of Liberia got to a point and concluded that we have had all these problems and leadership failures because the educated who have had the opportunity to lead this country have been all about themselves more than they have been about the people and the country. To put it blunt, they said the educated people fail us. And the ordinary people in their search for a savior, for a leader who in their calculation will serve them well, they for themselves what they got to know best. They said they needed to elect someone of their kind, someone who walked in the same shoes that they found themselves in. And they found no one other than a person in President George Weah. President Weah was celebrated. When they chose him, he became their own person. He became their kind. He became their representation. They had no doubt that he would deliver for them. They campaigned for him. They printed t-shirts for him. They walked in the sun for him. They walked in the rain for him. They took insults for him. They insulted others for him. They were sure he was going to deliver for them. For them, he knew their pain. He understood their pains. And he understood their situation. And that he will act so quickly to come to their deliverance. Little did they know that Pastor Weah was coming to build his church. Little did they know that President Weah was coming to resuscitate himself. Little did they know that he millions he squandered and did not use and invest to build for himself those things he needed. He was coming to bore. He was coming to get those things. And he was coming to laugh at their situation and give them crumbs. And so even their airport, he cared less whether or not a competent person is appointed. He cared less whether someone steals in his government. That person he maintains. He cares less whether somebody is competent to occupy that position. He cares less. For Weah is about who worships him, who adores him as the king of the land. Weah is balling. Weah is enjoying his best life. Liberians are sitting and watching painfully, in distress, yet others celebrate him still, even in their hunger, even in their anger. They think he will change. But every day he proves otherwise. This story will end. This story will come to an end. I don't know when, but I know it will come. Though Kim, he built his mansion, that mansion is abandoned. Weah did not get to know that. Taylor came, he built his own mansion, he called it the White Flower. No one lives in it today. Weah knows that, yet Weah doesn't care. Todman came, he built his own mansion. No one lives in it, whatever it is. Maybe it's in Apple. Tobor came, he built his own mansion. No one lives in it. It is somewhere, maybe in Bento, I don't know. At least the other leaders built their mansions far away from Monserrato County, Moravia, the seat of government. For where he said, I'm going to rub it in your faces. 9-1, 9-2, 9-3, 9-4. Folks, this guy in less than 3 years has acquired himself about or over 49 units of gigantic mansions for himself. To those who love him, is that love for you? Oh yes, he built you a market, right? Oh yes, he built you a sport park. Where will you have these mansions when you leave power? Will you live in all of them? Will you sleep in all of them at the same time? Did you actually come to help your people? Or were you just rushing to power just to, get those things that you wanted in the first place? But where is holy? The pastor-in-chief has appointed Jefferson Koijee. The city stings, the city smells. He has maintained a guy at the LRA, the RIA, and the lights continue to go off. Now he's taking decisions and brings in another incompetent person with no experience. What a lawful country. Oh, brother Weah, you are the man of the people, the man the people chose, the man who is delivering the results they did not expect. I will close to say, congratulations, brother Weah, but know this and know this well. It's got time. It's stubborn. Time is serious. Time is coming. It's slow, but it's sure. It will set in. It respects no man. It's coming. Are you prepared for that? I'm not sure you are prepared for that. Talk to Judy Bryan. The comrade who left us and is in heaven. Talk to Comrade Doe. The brother that I believe is in heaven. Talk to Comrade Todman. The brother that I believe who is in heaven. Talk to President Todman. The comrade who left and is in heaven. You should talk to them. I believe their spirits stay around. If you ask them, they will speak to you. I believe only their pieces of advice will make sense to you. Because the one man gave gifts makes no sense. The one 12 gives makes no sense. The one seditions gave make no sense. Oh no. The ones seditions gave make no sense whatsoever. And that is the peril of it all. Incompetence has been celebrated, has been elevated. Standards have been lowered completely to the ground. And this is the vehicle that's going to get us to the promised land. With this leadership, I am saying no. And no one should take that. That is my closing. That will close me for today. And that will take me to my cartoon. Thank you for following. The song says we are all Liberians. That song that closes us always is closing us again today. Folks, whether or not the guy appointed is incompetent, we are all Liberians. Maybe he will play Mary Bro and do the job. But I understand, I heard that he's been withdrawn, and I hope that is so. Enjoy the song, We Are All Liberians, just 1 minute before you leave. It will engender the spirit of nationalism and patriotism in you. And maybe it will awaken your spirit that there's the danger that is popping up in the country with the tension building in the political space. Maybe you will add your voice to the many voices. And our leaders will find reason to listen. The son, we are all Liberians, closest us right now. Until I catch you again when I do. The name is Ansony Sieh, Mran Sieh, Blood Sieh, and Number Sieh. Bye-bye, folks.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.